And welcome back to the channel. This is Rick Cast Reviews, and we are talking today Fantastic Four First Steps. This is the third attempt out of, or is this the fourth? It's actually the fourth attempt. It's a long story. It's the fourth attempt to get this franchise going, Marvel's first family. And this is the first time it's a big deal that Marvel has taken over the rights to it from Fox. Long story, not a big deal. A lot of controversy, a lot of speculation. I don't want to say hype, but I want to say a lot of weight has really been around this film. So it's very interesting that this film finally drops. And I'm going to give you 3 good, 3 bad about Fantastic Four First Steps, and I'll give you my overall rating here on Rick Cast Reviews. Let me give you the summary. So, forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strength of their family bond. James Bond. No, actually, it's actually the family bond. The Fantastic Four must defend Earth from a ravenous space god, put a pin in that, called Galactus, and his herald, the Silver Surfer, which is the Silver Servette, but it's a woman, but it's supposed to be a dude. It's a whole thing. Anyway, let's get to it, folks. So they've tried before under Fox. It's the first time under Marvel, as we said before, and it really is, when they say it's the best film since Endgame, they're right. Does that mean it's equivalent to Endgame? No, it isn't. This film does return to something that a lot of people are looking forward to or looking for, which is just a set-alone story instead of the MCU where there's 700 shows and things and spin-offs and YouTube channels you got to watch to try and stay afloat of what's going on. This one, you don't. So I see a lot of people are very much enjoying that. And it does manage to try and capture some of the family-friendly elements that were existing in Phase 1 and 2. But the film struggles under the weight of its own story. It doesn't believe in its own story enough to really be the bold win that Marvel is really hoping that it is at this point. So from a conservative's perspective, from a Catholic's perspective, it's commendable in parts, and it's hollow. It's nothing but Hollywood hollowness in others. But let's get to the 3 good off the top. Pro family messaging. This is probably the biggest pro you're going to get in a film all year. The strongest aspect of Fantastic Four First Steps is it's 2 things. 1, the value of little babies, right? The pro-life messaging. And 2, the support and strength of a family unit, in particular a heterosexual couple bringing a child into the world, and these emphasis on unity, loyalty, and family. The Fantastic Four are at their core a surrogate family. You got Reed and you've got Sue, and then you've got Sue's brother Johnny, and then you've got Ben. And there's no animus towards each other. It's nice. Nobody's ripping each other down. I mean, there may be arguments, but there's difference between arguments and family and the ripping down, the just nasty viciousness that we tend to see in a lot of modern films. None of that's here, right? If somebody's ego needs to be checked, they'll check it for good. And there's a welcomed acceptance of responsibility, of self-discipline, and the idea that these powers, these gifts, whatever you want to call them, are for protecting others. People like myself, and I'm sure if you went to go see it, you would appreciate these things. The second idea that really works is the respect for the idea of heroism. The film actually believes in heroes. Sometimes we get anti-hero movies good, but we've kind of embraced, ever since The Dark Knight, especially the Snyderverse, the dark, gritty anti-hero. Everybody became an anti-hero. Bad guys are anti-heroes. Good guys are anti-heroes. Everybody was an anti-hero. And now, outside of like the Punisher and certain people certain characters who are written that way, most of them are not. And that's why I think a lot of people enjoyed James Gunn's Superman, because it was bright and there was an embracing of Superman as a hero. Whatever you think of the film. Here, you have that same feeling. Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben, they understand that they are heroes. They understand that it is a responsibility that they must take, and they understand that it is something that they must shoulder by themselves. And that's, if that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling on those kind of things, but it really does, it does work in that way. So that's the second one, the idea of heroes are heroes and villains are villains. Galactus is bad. Some people will write off his character's not really well written, and there's, we don't have a lot of backstory. That's true, but our culture is so messed up and on what's good, what's bad, that I'm okay with the stripping down of, okay, he's bad, he's good. He destroys planets, they save the planet, right? We may have to get back to that type of storytelling to kind of build up people's ability to break down complex moral arguments, because everybody's moral compass is pretty much off the radar. Speaking of moral compass, this is my third good point. There's clear moral lines, unlike the moral ambiguity on a lot of stuff. We kind of talked about that in the last one. Heroes are heroes, bad guys are bad guys. I really want to emphasize the fact that First Steps offers that refreshing, straightforward moral landscape. Now, this you think I may be cheating here by using the same one twice, maybe, but I am, because there's really not that much else that I can dig into. Now, if you want to say, so that's my third one, let me give you a bonus. My bonus one is it's colorful. The retro future styling is fantastic. It's nice to look at. It's a nice welcome change. And then I'll give you a second bonus one. The cast, Pedro and Vanessa Kirby and the other two guys whose names I don't know, they're likable. Their chemistry works well with each other. And even if Pedro Pascal is the most overexposed actor in the world and the script is terrible, he doesn't do a half bad job. I mean, he's still kind of slimy and I don't really like him, but he's fine as this version of Reed Richards. I want to make sure I say that, this version, because this is not Reed Richards. This is just Marvel's version of Reed Richards. Let me get back into that's what I like. What I don't like, so no big ideas, lack of depth. It has the traditional beats, the hero's journeys and things like that. Although the hero's journey is very thin, it's still there. It doesn't get into larger philosophical or moral questions like your Captain America Civil Wars or any of these other, like The Dark Knight or any of these other kinds of films. This is purely a popcorn superhero film. Doesn't want to get over its skis. It's so desperate to be liked after you had a string of Marvel films that didn't care if they were liked or not, that this one is just desperate to just be liked, that it's not trying to really lay out any real deeper questions beyond the surface level stuff. No exploitation of liberty, justice, personal responsibility, or any of these other kinds of things. Yes, they embrace their powers for good, but a little bit of why they feel they have to, a little bit of backstory would have been nice, but it is what it is. The idea about science without limits. This, science is the God in this universe, not the one true God, but it's their God. Constant undertone that man through science can fix everything. People like myself, conservatives, Catholics, who value the limit of human reasoning and the dangers of unchecked experimentation, we find this troubling. There's very little humility, which as a Catholic, huge virtue, we want to be humble. Just pride masked as problem solving, and not really good either. This is Reed's supposed to be the smartest man in Marvel, period, and he's not. He's just not very smart. So I won't go any further on that. Third, and there's going to be some huge spoiler warnings here, no cultural courage. Right? There could have been the chance to reestablish this first family in a completely different dimension as the timeless values. They have all of the window dressing of these timeless values, 1950s and all that kind of, you get that hint. But duty, faith, patriotism. I mean, you see American flags and stuff like that out there, but none of these things are emphasized. It's just politically neutral, morally bland storytelling. And the worst part is this film, the leaks are confirmed because in the end, the men are useless. The men are useless in this film, and it's up to Sue Storm, who goes, and I kid you not, she goes 1v1 with Galactus. Now, if you're even half a nerd like I am, I'm not a full comic nerd, but even half a comics nerd, you realize that Galactus is a Titan. Even the synopsis refer to him as a space god, and you have a 5'7" woman going toe-to-toe using the power of maternity, not modernity, but, well, I guess in a way, but the power of maternity to fight a space god and push him across the entire, pretty much all of New York City, which as soon as you see this, you go, this is absolutely ridiculous. Reed Richards is pretty much relegated to save the baby. Oh, wait, never mind. They essentially did something that made fun of how useless his powers were with stretching and so forth. So, and then Ben and Johnny, Ben doesn't do anything the whole movie, and Johnny has one moment where he has the ability to do male sacrifice and put others' needs ahead of him, and he gets absolutely rose-ticoed by the Silver Surfette herself. He literally is about to make his big sacrifice, and I said, oh, he's going to get taken out. Not only did I say that, a second later, boom, the Silver Surfette comes out of nowhere, whacks him out of the frame, and then does the heroic sacrifice. So there's no cultural courage here because they could not get over the girl bosses. So Mary Sue Storm is essentially the most powerful being in the entire MCU across any universe because she can go 1v1 with a space god. I don't think they actually figured out this was a really bad idea going forward. But that is my 3 positives with some bonus positives and my 3 really heavy negatives that weighed down the film for Fantastic Four first review. What is my grade? Good, bad, or indifferent? I'm indifferent. As soon as I'm done with this review and I post and stuff, I'll probably just forget about it. There's not a single moment in the film that I will remember or a single moment of the film that I'll go, man, that was actually pretty cool. So that's the worst rating I can give. Even, at least if a movie's bad enough that I remember how bad it was and at least inspired emotions. This one doesn't inspire anything. And I don't think it's a great kickoff to Avengers Doomsday because it didn't go deep enough to establish a foundation for me. All right, that's it for this episode of Rickcast Reviews. You do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell for all my amazing reviews. Internet, you stay classy out there.